For decades, gardening seemed out of reach for many seniors. But today, 5 simple vegetables, lettuce, radishes, cherry tomatoes, bush beans, and zucchini, are transforming patios and windowsills into thriving mini gardens with almost no heavy lifting. Why does growing your own food matter so much as we age? Health, independence, and the everyday joy of a homegrown harvest are at stake. Yet, most seniors still don't know just how easy, rewarding, and joint-friendly these crops can be when you set up your garden the right way. So, what's the secret to turning 2 pots and a sunny corner into real, delicious results? The easiest way to garden, without aches and pains, is to bring the soil up to you, not the other way around. Waist-high raised beds, around 30 inches tall, are the sweet spot for most people. High enough to work while standing or sitting, low enough for wheelchair access or a garden stool. This single change means no more crouching, squatting, or leaning over for long stretches, and it's a game changer for anyone with stiff knees or a sore back. Containers with sturdy legs or platforms work just as well, especially on patios or balconies where space is tight. Lightweight tools make every step easier. Look for hand trowels and cultivators that weigh less than 10 ounces and have wide, cushioned grips. Foam-wrapped handles or rubberized coatings help tired hands hold on, even when fingers don't bend like they used to. Long-handled versions, 18 to 30 inches, let you dig, plant, and pull weeds from a comfortable reach so you can garden from a chair or standing upright. For anyone with arthritis, a thicker grip, about 1.25 inches in diameter, eases wrist strain and helps keep a steady hold. Organizing your workspace brings everything within arm's reach. Use rolling carts or plant caddies to move heavy pots, and hang tools on waist-level hooks or in a bucket right at the edge of your bed. If you need to sit, a garden scooter or rocker seat lets you glide along the row without getting up and down. Keep the path around your beds flat and clear, at least 4 feet wide, for easy movement and fewer trip hazards. With the right height and smart tools, gardening becomes about the plants, not the pain. This setup works for every crop in this series, making each step ahead simpler and safer. All it takes is a little planning and the right gear to turn any small space into a garden you can enjoy every day. Every healthy plant starts with the right soil, and for container or raised bed gardening, the recipe is simple. Use 3 parts high-quality potting mix to 1 part compost. This 3-to-1 blend holds moisture without getting soggy, gives roots plenty of air, and feeds young plants for weeks. Potting mix is lighter than regular dirt, so containers stay easy to move and roots won't get waterlogged. Compost adds a steady trickle of nutrients, which means less frequent feeding and fewer worries about yellowing leaves or stunted growth. Fill each container to within 2 inches of the rim. Press the soil down gently, just enough to settle it, not so much that you pack out the air. The surface should feel springy, not hard. Before planting, water the soil thoroughly until you see a little moisture seep from the drainage holes. This step helps roots find water right away and prevents dry pockets deep in the pot. Once the soil is in and damp, top it with a layer of mulch. Straw, shredded bark, or even dry leaves work well. Spread mulch about 1 inch thick across the surface. This simple step locks in moisture, so you won't need to water as often, and it keeps weeds from sprouting where you don't want them. Mulch also stops soil from splashing onto leaves during watering, which helps prevent disease in leafy crops. For seniors, mulch means less bending and less fuss. Just water at the base and let the mulch handle the rest. This soil and mulch combo works for every vegetable in the lineup. It's the foundation for easy, low-maintenance gardening, and it sets up each plant to thrive with almost no extra effort. With the containers filled and mulched, you're ready for the fun part: sowing seeds and watching them grow. Staying comfortable and safe in the garden starts with a few simple habits. The first rule is never lift more than 20 pounds at once. If a bag of soil or a pot feels heavy, split it into smaller loads or use a rolling cart. Most containers and grow bags for vegetables stay well under this limit when filled, but always check the weight before moving anything. Bending from the knees, not the waist, takes pressure off your back, especially when picking up tools or watering cans. If you use a chair or garden scooter, check that it is stable before sitting down, and keep the path clear of hoses, tools, and loose mulch to prevent trips or slips. 4-foot wide walkways give enough room for walkers or wheelchairs to turn easily. Sun safety matters too. Wear a wide-brimmed hat, light gloves, and sunscreen, even on cloudy days. Plan gardening for early morning or late afternoon to avoid the strongest sun. Keep a water bottle close and take breaks in the shade. Dehydration sneaks up fast when you are focused on your plants. Mistakes happen, but most are easy to fix. Overcrowding is a common one. When pots are packed too tightly, roots compete for space and water, and plants grow weak or stop producing. Always check the seed packet or plant tag for spacing and stick to 1 zucchini or tomato per large pot. Using too small a container can stunt growth or dry out soil too quickly, so aim for at least 2 gallons for lettuce and radishes and 5 gallons for tomatoes and zucchini. Overwatering is another pitfall. Soggy soil suffocates roots. Check moisture by poking a finger into the top inch. If it feels damp, wait before watering again. Do not forget to support tomato plants with a cage or stake right after planting, and keep leaves trimmed off the ground to prevent disease. A little prep goes a long way. Store tools at waist height, wipe down handles after use, and keep a small first aid kit handy for scrapes. With these habits, you can garden with confidence, avoid common errors, and focus on the fun of growing your own food. Lettuce is one of the quickest ways to see real results in the garden. Leaf lettuce, in particular, is almost foolproof. It sprouts fast, grows fast, and you can start snipping tender leaves in as little as 4 weeks. For the easiest start, fill a wide, shallow pot at least 8 inches deep with your potting mix and compost blend. Sprinkle seeds in rows about 4 inches apart, then cover lightly with soil. Water until the surface feels like a wrung-out sponge. Place the container where it gets at least half a day of sun. Lettuce thrives in cool, bright spots, and with regular moisture, the leaves stay crisp and sweet. Morning is the best time to water, and a finger test in the top inch of soil will tell you if it's time. If it feels dry, add more. The real magic with lettuce is the cut and come again method. Instead of pulling out the whole head, use scissors to snip the outer leaves, leaving the center to grow back. This way, one planting can keep producing for weeks. Every other week, pour on a half-strength dose of liquid fertilizer to keep the leaves lush. Mulch on top of the soil holds in moisture and keeps weeds out, so you spend less time fussing and more time enjoying fresh salad. Radishes are the speedsters of the vegetable world. From seed to harvest, they're ready in just 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes even less. They don't need much depth. A pot about 6 inches deep and 8 inches across is plenty. The easiest route is seed tape or pelleted seeds, which are spaced perfectly so there's no thinning required. Just press them into damp soil about an inch apart, cover lightly, and water gently. Radishes like steady moisture, so check the soil often and keep it evenly damp. If the top starts to crack or look dry, it's time to water. When the tops are bushy and round roots start to poke through the soil, it's harvest time. Grasp the greens and pull gently. No digging needed. Every time you harvest, drop in a few more seeds for a steady supply. For anyone with arthritis or limited grip strength, this gentle pull is all it takes. Doris, a retired teacher, switched to raised beds after hip surgery and now picks lettuce and radishes at waist height. She says, "Cutting greens and pulling radishes without bending down made me feel like a gardener again." Her tip: use self-watering spikes and mulch to keep everything thriving with almost no effort. Quick greens like these give you a taste of success right from the start, and that momentum makes every next step in the garden feel easier. Cherry tomatoes are the go-to choice for anyone craving homegrown flavor without the hassle. Compact bush or patio types are bred for small spaces, and with the right setup, one plant can keep you picking for months. Start with a sturdy pot. 15 liters, or about 4 gallons, is the sweet spot. Any smaller, and the roots crowd out fast, leaving you with dry soil and tiny fruit. Fill the container with your potting mix and compost blend, then water it until it feels moist all the way through. Plant a single cherry tomato seedling in the center, and right away, add a tomato cage or short stake. Supporting the stem from day one means no wrestling with tangled vines or broken branches later on. Set the pot where it catches at least 6 hours of sun each day. Tomatoes love heat, and a south-facing wall or balcony rail works wonders. Just watch that the leaves don't touch hot metal in midsummer. For watering, a self-watering pot or a simple drip bottle setup makes all the difference. These systems keep the soil evenly damp, even during summer heat waves, so you're not lugging a watering can every afternoon. Check the reservoir every few days and top it off before it runs dry. If you're using a regular pot, water at the base in the morning, aiming for the soil to feel like a wrung-out sponge, not soggy, not dusty. Deep roots mean less fuss, and steady moisture helps prevent cracked fruit and blossom end rot. When the first yellow flowers open, switch to a tomato fertilizer every 10 days. Half strength is enough. Pinch off any leaves that turn yellow or touch the soil, and keep the plant trimmed to chest height for easy picking. Most bush cherry tomatoes start ripening about 70 days after planting, and once they begin, the harvest doesn't stop. Sylvia, a retired nurse, switched to a 15-liter self-watering pot for her patio tomatoes during a hot summer. She said, "I barely lifted a finger, just filled the reservoir and picked fruit every week, even with my bad knees." For a true set-and-forget routine, add a layer of mulch around the stem to keep weeds down and moisture in. 1 plant per pot is all you need. Crowding leads to weak growth and fewer tomatoes. With the right pot, support, and watering shortcut, cherry tomatoes prove that even fruiting crops can be easy, reliable, and within reach, right outside your door. Beans and zucchini are the powerhouses of any easy garden, giving you the biggest harvest for the least amount of effort. Bush beans are the simplest way to get fresh green pods without wrestling with tall poles or tangled vines. Unlike their climbing cousins, these beans grow in tidy, knee-high clumps, perfect for raised beds or roomy pots. Drop the seeds about 3 inches apart in a deep container. 10 to 15 liters is just right for a small handful of plants. Cover lightly with soil, water until damp, and set the pot in a spot that gets at least 6 hours of sun each day. As long as the soil stays moist but not soggy, they will sprout fast, sending up sturdy stems in just a week. Beans love steady moisture, so a drip bottle or self-watering pot takes the guesswork out of daily care. When the first pods start forming, usually about 55 days after planting, pick them while they are still slender and crisp. The more you harvest, the more the plants keep producing. If you want a steady supply through the season, sow a new batch every 3 weeks in a fresh spot or container. Mulch around the base to hold in moisture and keep weeds away, and you will spend more time picking than pulling. Zucchini has a reputation for taking over the garden, but the right setup makes it surprisingly easy to manage. Choose a bush variety and plant just 1 seedling in a large container. 15 to 20 liters, or about 5 gallons, is ideal. Set the pot in full sun and water at the base every morning so the soil always feels moist to the touch. A sturdy tomato cage or short trellis helps keep the leaves and fruit off the ground, making picking a breeze and cutting down on bending. When the first baby zucchini appear, usually around 50 days after planting, start harvesting them at 6 to 8 inches long. Smaller fruits are sweeter, more tender, and much lighter to lift. No wrestling with baseball bats here. A thick layer of mulch around the stem keeps the soil cool and watering simple. Feed with a scoop of slow-release fertilizer when fruits start to form, and check the top inch of soil with your thumb every few days. If it is dry, add water. 1 plant per pot is plenty, and picking often keeps new zucchini coming. With beans and zucchini, the reward is real. Big handfuls of pods and plump squash, all from waist height or a sunny corner of the patio, no heavy lifting required. A simple weekly checklist keeps the whole garden thriving without fuss. Start by checking the top inch of soil with your finger. If it's dry, it's time to water. Each plant prefers moist, not soggy, soil, so this quick test works for every pot and bed. While you're at it, look for any leaves with holes or yellow spots and pinch them off to keep pests in check. Harvest lettuce, beans, or zucchini when they're small and tender. Picking often means more keeps coming. Every 2 or 3 weeks, feed with a half-strength liquid fertilizer to keep plants growing strong. If a pot isn't getting enough sun, shift it to a brighter spot. With just these steps, you'll cover watering, feeding, pest checks, and regular harvests. All in one easy routine you can finish in under 15 minutes. Pests don't have to take over your garden, and you don't need harsh chemicals to keep them away. Copper tape is a simple fix for slugs and snails. Just wrap a clean, unbroken strip around the rim of your pot or raised bed. The copper reacts with their slime, making it uncomfortable for them to cross, so your lettuce and beans stay safe. For aphids and soft-bodied bugs, a gentle neem soap spray works wonders. Mix 1 teaspoon of neem oil with a quart of water and a drop of mild soap. Then spray both sides of the leaves every week or so, always in the cool of morning or evening. Ladybugs are natural helpers too. Release a few onto your plants and they'll gobble up aphids for you. Netting stretched over hoops or frames keeps out cabbage moths and hungry birds, but lets in sun and rain. With these easy, non-toxic tricks, your vegetables can thrive, and you can enjoy the harvest with peace of mind. Robert nearly quit gardening after arthritis flared in both hands, but a neighbor showed him a simple fix: a drip bottle stuck upside down in each of his bean pots. With 2 deep 10-liter containers set at hip height, he didn't have to bend or haul a heavy watering can. The drip bottles kept the soil perfectly moist, even during a hot spell, and the beans shot up fast. Every week, Robert's grandkids picked crisp green pods right at his side. He says, "I just refill the bottles, sit back, and watch the beans grow. No pain, just fresh food and family time." For Robert, one easy tweak turned gardening from a struggle into pure joy, and the harvest keeps coming all season long. In the last decade, gardening participation among seniors has risen by over 20%, with raised beds and ergonomic tools specifically designed to reduce strain and increase accessibility. This documentary has shown, using step-by-step evidence and testimonials, that crops like lettuce, radishes, cherry tomatoes, bush beans, and zucchini can be grown with minimal effort and equipment. Archival patents and occupational therapy research confirm that 30-inch high beds and lightweight tools make gardening safer and more comfortable for older adults. While the perfect balance between low maintenance and high yield can vary by climate and personal ability, the core principles, proper container sizing, A simple 3-to-1 soil mix and gentle pest solutions remain widely effective. Questions about the long-term sustainability of certain container setups or the best soil amendments for specific regions are still under study. But the documented success stories and accessible routines demonstrate that, with the right adaptations, gardening remains an achievable and rewarding activity for seniors today.